Hello, everybody. Hello. As used to say in the old days, hello, shampoo, hello. Yep. Today is a very, 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 very special day. We're honored to have with us a man of men, a true leader, a spirit, and a person out there for the betterment of all, particularly you, because everything he does is for we the people. And it's Robert Kiyosaki and his books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, bestseller of bestsellers of bestsellers, and a very, very important book of the times that we're going through. The Capitalist Manifesto by Robert Kiyosaki. Again, this guy's the author of international bestsellers. The information he puts out is to help you prepare, prevail, and prosper, particularly in these very difficult times that we're going through. Robert, thanks so much for being on, and welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean, that's that old saying, may you live in interesting times. These are dangerous times. These are more than interesting. Biggest changes in world history. So I'm honored to be in your program.
Well, no, we're honored to have you. Yeah, this is as I see it, these are the most uh, dangerous geopolitical and socioeconomic times in modern history.
Yes.
Yes. We heard this past week, out of his mind, Joe Biden rambling on about the prospects of a nuclear disaster. And this is a guy, by the way, that said we weren't going to be sending troops into Ukraine. And the New York Times, they call themselves the paper of record. I call it the toilet paper of record. They, in all the news that's fit to print, we'll tell you it's fit to print. Yeah, they came out this past Wednesday and said the United States, in fact, does have troops on the ground there, and in terms of the CIA and other special agents. Right. And so these are, and then we heard Zelensky come out, the guy that's the president of Ukraine, saying that NATO and the United States should do a preemptive attack against Russia.
Yeah.
And that will stop them from doing anything. Brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we look at that, and then we're in an economic crisis, I believe is the worst in modern history, right. With them inflating, artificially pumping up the economy when they started the COVID war. What are we, over $30 trillion in debt, $31 trillion in debt. And now you're hearing, by the way, one after another, the IMF, what is it, the International Monetary Fund, they came out this past Thursday and warned of very, very difficult economic times for the entire globe. Right. So what's your take on all this, and what do you think people should do?
Well, we saw this coming a long time ago. That's why I started Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We're 25 years now. Yeah. And the book is still internationally on the bestseller lists. I wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad because in 1971, Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. I call that the corruption of capitalism. You see, what happened is then you could take the dollar. You know, what happened was the French sent warships to America and saying, give us your gold, give us our gold back. Because America broke its promise to the world in 1944, the Bretton Woods Agreement, saying that the US dollar would become the reserve currency of the world, but we would back it with gold. So in 1971, when Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard, I was what, 20 something years old. I didn't know what it meant, but and then in 72, I was flying in Vietnam. And so talking about boots on the ground, there've always been boots on the ground. There were boots on the ground, American boots before me. And the CIA was always there in Vietnam. So don't think that, CIA stands for Capitalism's Invisible Army. But at the same time, I was shooting those NVA, and there were white guys running with them. There are Russians. So don't think that it's always borders and everybody wears a white suit or a brown suit or whatever it is. But anyway, 1971 was a corruption of capitalism. And then the whole world changed. And now we have an economic crisis because instead of fixing the crisis, America prints money. And the Bank of England almost took the world down last week. Their pension funds nearly collapsed. And that's why I wrote the book, Who Stole My Pension, back in 2000. I mean, you can see this stuff coming. And so that's why I started Rich Dad Poor Dad, because we fight back. Since our schools teach us nothing about money, because most school teachers are Marxist, you know, they join labor. I'm not against them. Understand, it's a free country. You want to be a Marxist? It's like you can be a Jew, a Buddhist, Muslim, Mormon, Catholic, Christian. Economics is a religion. So you can be a Marxist and that's your religion. You know, we should give everybody fish. Well, I think we should teach people to fish, but our schools don't teach that. They teach sexual identity or something. I had no problem with my sexual identity. I like girls, you know.
Me
I got
too.
taught all the time. Just look out, holy Christ, they're such gorgeous creatures, you know. And I couldn't concentrate. So you could tell me I'm a girl, but I had no problem with that one.
Yeah, I hear you. I have one of my books, What Zizzy Gave Honey Boy. I have a photo in there of me and Teresa McKelvey at our first communion. We were holding hands and we used to kiss in religious instructions. They say in the Catholic Church that you reach the age of reason at 7 years old. That's why you can receive Holy Communion. I reached the age of reason. I was kissing Teresa McKelvey.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you mentioned 1971. It was all the money spent on the Vietnam War and the guns and butter baloney
Right.
that Lyndon Johnson blew into the economy,
Right.
that artificially inflated it, that
Correct.
caused that spiking inflation.
Right.
And it was also the taking us off the gold standard.
Right.
I have a photo, I don't know if you get it over there, it's in the right of the drums, of me and John Connally. John Connally was the governor of Texas that took the bullet in the back sitting in front of Kennedy.
Right.
And he wanted to meet me in 1992.
Really?
Yeah, 2 weeks before the presidential election.
Wow.
And the reason being is that in my book, Trend Tracking, Far Better Than Megatrends, Time Magazine, that I wrote in 1989, I had forecast a new third party, and someone like Ross Perot would be the candidate. So Connally wanted to meet me, and so I flew down to Dallas to meet him. And this is a photo of me, him, and his wife in front of the book depository. You see that?
Wow. That's amazing. That was
it's his first time back since the assassination. They didn't even go back.